Hello, good morning, and welcome to our Sunday gathering at First Center for Spiritual Living. It's such a beautiful day today, and I'm particularly very happy because I see beautiful faces, and it's a good day and a new day. So, welcome everybody to our Sunday gathering, and like it's our norm, we'd like to start with our meditation session, and we'll have our very own Reverend Judith here for the meditation. Good morning, Reverend Judith. You're welcome.
Good morning, everyone. Hi. This is the time of our quiet meditation. So just close your eyes, sit up comfortably in your chairs if you can. Close your eyes, of course, and relax. Have the intent of spending this wonderful short period for yourself. I'm going to be saying God and Spirit. Use whatever words that you use for your higher power, for your source. And let go of the concerns of the day and go within. We're breathing in and out deeply and slowly. Taking a deep breath, hold it in, and let it out slowly. And feel your body relax. Relax from your head to your feet. And your eyeballs are down, facing your eyelashes, your bottom lashes, so you're at ease. There is one life, living life, and that is my life now. This is your knowing. It is the only power there is. It is the only presence there is. And it lives its magnificence by means of me, and I know it, and I am grateful for it. I know that God is love, and so I am love. I am the love of God made manifest. And I love to love with the love of God. That love nourishes me, and the love that I give out is returned to me, magnified. God is light, the light that illumes my consciousness, that illumes the world, the cosmos. And I let that light that is in me as spirit, illume me and those that come into my presence. God is peace, and I am peace. I am the peace that passeth all understanding. I don't have to seek it, I am it. And I awaken to the peacefulness that I am, being spirit, knowing and loving itself. Feel the divine embrace. Feel the everlasting arms. Feel Spirit God holding you, loving you, stroking you, cherishing you, telling you that you are my beloved, in whom I am well pleased. Continue to breathe in and out slowly. Continue to feel that inner joy that comes from knowing that you are at one with the one. God is power, and I use that power. I use the power that created the universe. God is beauty, and I am beautiful. I am so beautiful because I am spirit, and spirit is beauty itself. God is joy, and I am joy. I am joy, I am joyous, I am pleased with myself, I love myself, I love God, and I love the universe because I am secure in the divine presence, in the everlasting arms, the divine embrace. There is nothing but good because there is nothing but God. This I know, this I feel, this I am grateful for, knowing that good is the only reality, because God is the only reality. And I keep my consciousness open, my mind clear, and I look for the good, and I see the good, and I experience the good by embracing the good and knowing that I am worthy of it because of who I am. And in this knowing, I know that all is well. In this knowing, I know that I can. I know that I will. I know that I do. I know that I am blessed and a blessing because I am choosing to be who I am. I am one with the one. I am the I am that I am. And for this, I am very grateful. And I relax into this knowing, and I let it be so. And so it is.
By means of all of us, and your work is really done from a higher perspective, and you're doing your work on yourself, and you're thrilled to know that this is my work to do. The real gifted person comes from the place of acknowledgement of what's right, and you build on the good. If you're going through some bad situation, some tough circumstance, if you find yourself stuck, you find yourself abandoned, you find yourself going through a rough patch, friendless or hopeless or anything like that, I know all these states of consciousness are painful, but if you're going through anything tough and you come to a place like this, it's really a great opportunity now for you to seize the moment and turn it around. There's an old adage, nothing changes if nothing changes, and the thing is, you have power to change. You have executive power that Ernest Holmes spoke of, to write your life, claim your life, to create the best version of yourself that's possible. Why would you want to keep perpetuating things that don't work well when you know you could create something starting here, starting now, that's wonderful and new and full of life and positive expectancy and wholeness and healing? I'm making an assumption here. You're not here by accident. If you're here, it's because you want to take a deeper dive, you want to grow, you want to step out of the shallow lives. We're far from the shallow now. Well, we are. Once you're getting into the root and cause of what's right and what's wrong in your life, you're not in the shallow waters anymore. You realize, I am cause to my own experience. It's not the Flip Wilson, the devil made me do it. It's not my boyfriend, my girlfriend. It's not my pastor. It's not my friend. I'm cause to my own experience. So all healing that we have is self-healing. And we realize here that no one saves us from our lives except for ourselves. I need to look in the mirror and say, I love, accept, and approve of you exactly as you are. And I might have to say that when I have a lot of unresolved issues, but that's where the work begins. Each of us are individualizations of spirit, and we're here to learn, and we're here to grow, and we're here to heal our lives. And we teach you here that you have everything you could possibly need. It's all provided to you. You might think you need a guide, you might think that you're not enough, and you might think you don't have enough, and you might be caught up in some story of not enough, not enough, not enough, and shame and blame, because that's where a lot of people are caught up. But those are not ideas of truth. Those are ideas that you have bought into along the way. Somehow you thought that you should look a different way and sound a different way and have more to be acceptable. And we've all bought into a lot of that stuff. It's part of the programming. And most of that stuff, as you come to our classes one by one, you will begin to let go of the limiting thoughts and ideas that you have. Not to let the inner dialogue sink them. So we're here to challenge you to lift your dialogue up, step out of those states of consciousness where you're nurturing fearful ideas and doubt and all of that. And we want to remind you that the universe always has your back and that you can have a great life, a life that's full of positive expectancy, wholeness, creativity. In order to have that, though, there's a certain amount of what we call work. We have to do the spiritual work, sabotaging us. And it isn't an outside job. It isn't about the employers or the economy or the political system or any kind of oppression. It's really, the self-sabotage is always the internal dialogue. Have your thoughts been generally very life-giving? And in your world, that's got to be you, right? It has to be you. Only you know what it's like to be you. Are you full of joy and laughter and fun? And if so, then I want to celebrate you, because you're one of the people Ernest Holmes spoke of. Ernest Holmes said, find me one person who's so redeemed from the bondage of self, who can get all that stuff out of the way, and I will find the Redeemer of my soul. Have you been nurturing yourself the past few days? Have you been really good to yourself in your conversation? Because that tendency of thinking, that tendency of thought is the very thing that creates your life. Have you been doing your spiritual work? Have you been in connection? Have you known throughout the week that you are supplied and supported? And have you come from that connected place? This teaching offers you a life that's unparalleled in terms of peace and joy and happiness. Your great life, they've all written, awaits you. And the power that you possess is established. And it's always available to you, and yet most of the people don't tap into it in the way you could.
Hello, good morning, and welcome to our Sunday gathering at First Center for Spiritual Living. We are starting our lesson now, and it's a very beautiful day. And I want to welcome everybody to this gathering. I already know it's going to be a beautiful time with every one of us here. We'd like to start our day, our lesson, with an affirmative prayer. And I'd like to invite Reverend Judith Byrd-Bullock for the affirmative prayer. And afterwards, we'll have her take the first section of our power talk today, entitled The Prospering Action of Spirit. Let's welcome Reverend Judith.
Good morning again. This is our time for treatment, spiritual mind treatment, our form of affirmative prayer that is specific, directive, and expectant, because we know that the creative law of mind is responding to us. So let us just relax, go within, and know this truth about ourselves. This treatment is spoken for self-love, self-awareness, for each one on the call. We recognize, we understand, we affirm because we know the truth that there is one power, one presence, one creative intelligence that is everywhere equally present, all-knowing, and it knows and loves and expresses itself in all of its magnificence and all of its glory by means of the centers of itself, each one here. Each one is a center within spirit. No matter where they are, no matter who they are, each is the very center of spirit. Each is all that spirit is in their own knowing, in their own acceptance of themselves as spirit individualized, spirit personalized. And in this acceptance, any belief in limitation, in being unworthy, of being incapable of moving forward or having good or accepting good, whatever there is that says no is completely uprooted, dissolved, and cannot return. Because the truth is the truth, and the truth is, each is spirit. Each is that power that created the universe. Each is that love that holds everything together. Each is that light that illumines everything. Each is that beauty that makes everything worthy, because everything is spirit. Each in accepting themselves as spirit knows them to be, has moved into a greater awareness of oneness with spirit, of being the power, the cause, the good that controls their experience, that gives them the dominion in their lives. Each is knowing and accepting that all that spirit is, I am and have, so that I consciously choose to move forward. I consciously choose to decide and make the right decisions and to move my feet into a greater experience of life. And just the choice and the work makes it so, because this good is already given. It comes in with us as being spirit, individualized, and we get to personalize. Each is accepting the good. Each is moving forward in the clarity of oneness with the one and accepting the kingdom of the all good right here and right now. This is the truth for each one. I declare it so, giving thanks as I do, for I know that it is done. And so it is. And so it is. Well, I'm still here. Today is the Reverend Robert and Judy show. Our pastor had to be away, so we're grateful, of course, for this opportunity to do the lesson. And he gave us the same assignment to talk on or around the prosperity as life, using the prospering action of spirit on my personal prosperity. So you're likely to hear some of the same things from Reverend Robert and I today, right? So, the prosperous life, the abundant life, the good life, the blessed life, I think that that's the life that we all want, right? Yeah. This is what Ernest Holmes, the founder of the Science of Mind, says about prosperity in our text. Prosperity is the outpicturing of substance in our affairs. Everything in the universe is for us. Nothing is against us. We must know that everywhere we go, we meet friendships, love, human interests, and helpfulness. Life is ever giving of itself. We must receive it, utilize it, and extend the gift. Success and prosperity are spiritual attributes belonging to all people, but not necessarily used by all people, right? For one thing, this tells me that just having a whole lot of money, though money is good and I like it, but we know it doesn't necessarily make for a prosperous life. Raymond Charles Barker tells us there are a lot of rich, unhappy people, just like there are a lot of poor, unhappy people. Dr. Barker also defines prosperity as the ability to do what you want to do at the instant that you want to do it. You can't argue with that, can you? No, they're shaking their heads no. No. But for me personally, to me, a prosperous life is a happy life, peaceful, harmonious, joyful, and full of gratitude. When you are just happy, and by that I mean your happiness doesn't depend on whatever is happening outside of you, your family, your money, your job, the weather, or even your health. We are concerned about all of those things. We care about all those things. And we do what we can to maintain the best for us in all those areas. But our happiness doesn't come from that. It comes from a prosperous life is a matter of consciousness, like everything else is, right? So within, so without. The stronger our conscious connection is with the divine presence within us, the richer and the more joyful our lives has to be, no matter what experience we're going through, because we know that connection. We are happy for that reason. We are prosperous for that reason. We know who we are. We know that we're one with Spirit. We know, yes, I am supplied and supported at all times, through everything and no matter what. That's what makes us happy and prosperous, living a prosperous life. And we know that we can think a new thought, thereby change whatever experience we're going through that at the moment might not seem comfortable or happy or what we really want. And prosperity means different things to different people. But because we are part of the creative process itself, co-creators with spirit, it's all about attitude, isn't it? How are you seeing what's going on in your life? You want to just see it, or you want to see it from here, from your heart, from the point of spirit, God in you? Using the prospering action of spirit. We live in a divine bounty. All kinds of good as ideas are there waiting for us to pick and choose from them. They're awaiting our recognition, recognizing them, and taking them into consciousness. The taking starts with a desire. You have to know what you want. A decision. You have to decide, yes, I'm going to do what is necessary, my work, move my feet to bring it about. And expectancy. You have to expect the results. Because if you don't expect the results, you're like wishy-washy. Maybe you'll get it and maybe you won't. Maybe you'll fall into that law of averages and maybe you won't. You have to expect it. And also, we want to know that spirit becomes the thing that we have named. God is all there is, in and as everything that is. Remember what Holmes said, everything in the universe is for us, and nothing is against us. He also said, you can attract only that which you are first mentally become and feel yourself to be in reality without doubting. We have to become the thing. If you want a loving, supportive partner, then you have to be a loving, supportive person. Attraction. You have to love yourself. You have to love all those around you. Well, maybe not love. Unconditionally love. You know, like the love that Jesus spoke of in the Bible. But you have to accept people for what they are, for where they are. And that attraction brings that person into your experience. A steady stream of consciousness going out into creative mind will attract a steady manifestation of conditions. It has to, it's a law. A fluctuating stream of consciousness will attract the corresponding manifestations or conditions in your life. That's where everything is like up in the air. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. Sometimes right, sometimes wrong. We know there's really no right, no wrong. But sometimes the manifestations are not the things that you want and are not comfortable with for where you are now. We must be consistent in our attitude of mind, never wavering. So, the moment we decide to live a richer and prosperous life, our consciousness will devise ways and means of our having that prosperousness according to us. And how does that come about? Because we are thinking beings, We're always thinking within ourselves, within our subconsciousness, which is our place in the universal subjectivity, which will automatically, without trying to judge whether this is something good for you or something that you really want, which will automatically give you what it has been given. It does its job. It accepts what it is given, reacts to it, and creates from it. So if you plant apples, you can expect to get oranges. The prosperous life is a demonstration of consciousness, of a consciousness of being prosperous, being now. Not when I get all this money, or not when I get this great partner, or this great job, or when I'm feeling better, but now. Now we are the sons and daughters of Spirit. Yeah. And because we are the beloved of the loving Creator, who has loved itself so much that it has become us, or we have become it. We're one. That's that unconditional love that Robert's like shaking his head, saying to me under his breath. But that's who we are, the beloved of Spirit. We have the use of the creative law of mind that works for us, and it is always saying yes to us. So you see that we have been given the ways and the means of living that prosperous life now by means of consciousness. And so ends my part, and I'm going to turn this over to Reverend Robert right here and right now. Reverend Robert.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Reverend Judith. Thank you. And thank all of you for being here and supporting us, Reverend Judith and I, today. We do certainly appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. So when Dr. Gregg told us that we were going to talk today on Sunday, he said that, base your talk around prosperity. And of course, the first thing that came to my mind was money, prosperity, money. And I thought, well, geez, what am I going to talk about money? I mean, we all want it, we all need it, we could all use it. What am I going to say? How much more can I say about money? Then he said, talk about the prospering action of Spirit. And I thought, aha, right, exactly. Because without a prospering action of Spirit in consciousness, not having that kind of consciousness will not allow for money to flow in our lives from known and unknown sources, from near and far. And they do. Peace, love, joy, as Reverend Judith talked about, is everything starts in where? Consciousness. So the flow of prosperity is God in action, money in action, Spirit in action. And each one of us is God in action, Spirit in action. We have to realize that. The infinite source energy that created each of us wants us to prosper, wants us to be healthy, wants us to be happy in every area of our lives. This is the gift that was given to each of us. It's our birthright. A spirit of life resides within each and every one of us. It is our source energy. We can't see it. We see what it does, but we do not see the doer. And what it does and what it will do for us will depend on how much we can embody this infinite source energy through consciousness. Where else? Where else can you embody this other than in your conscious mind? So, as we open up our hearts and minds to allow this power for good to move through our lives, to move through us, in us, and as us, nothing but goodness will prevail in our lives. The prospering action of spirit that indwells within each of us is infinite. It contains all the knowledge and wisdom, and we, each one of us, are its outlet for this knowledge and wisdom to pour forth in our lives. So I have to ask myself, and I ask each of you, what are you doing to prosper in spirit? And I've come to the realization at this point in my work as a religious scientist, it's more than doing my spiritual practices. It's more than doing my practices on a daily basis. It's more than doing, as much reading as I could. It's more than taking classes and what have you. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that this isn't good and shouldn't be done. Absolutely, without a doubt. You should be taking classes and you should be reading and doing your work in that process. But because it is in our practices, and it is in our growth, and it is in our readings where we find the joy and the happiness of what we are doing and how we are growing and developing our growth. And this power for good will then outpicture in our lives. However, it does no service to any of us if we don't apply what we're learning into our lives, into our daily experiences and lives. This is where we see the growth. This is where we begin to prosper in life. And when prosperity in every area of our lives, this is when it will take flight, when we experience it and give it to life. Now, I often say, and I'll say it again, life is our greatest teacher. Bringing all the joy that we embody from our metaphysical practices, and I do want to remind you that meta means above. So metaphysical is above the physical. So we're working in this teaching in the realm of the spiritual. And we see from that higher level of consciousness. We bring that joy and inspiration, that realm of spiritual consciousness, into our daily activities in life. We then begin to see our lives as that prospering action of spirit and can face any and all challenges that life may throw at us. And yes, indeed, life does throw at us some really mean curveballs, if you will. But we're prepared for it. We're prepared for it because we have increased the conscious awareness of spirit operating in our lives from this spiritual realm of consciousness. So we see the good, we see the God, we see the light in any and all challenges that we may be faced with. Spirit is all life, truth, love, being, peace, and harmony. And once we unify with that truth, we expand our consciousness for a greater demonstration in life to unfold. And note that consciousness is not like a rubber band. You know, a rubber band, you expand the rubber band and you let it go and it falls back to how it was in the beginning. That's not consciousness. When consciousness expands and expands, it never goes back to what it once was. It stays where it is, wanting you to expand it even more and more and more. And know that to be the truth, because it's not its nature to fall back. Its nature is to grow and expand. So once we begin to live our lives knowing ourselves as life, truth, love, being, and realize that we are cause to whatever effects are going on in our lives, and accept that responsibility, we could change cause if we do not like the effects that are going on in our lives. By our thinking, by changing our thoughts. Then and only then will we begin to know ourselves as the power in the universe that knows itself to be prosperous, creative, happy, healthy, and the list goes on and on and on. Because you have the power to live the life you choose to live. You choose to live. I don't choose it for you, and don't let anybody else choose it for you. You're the only one that chooses how you wish to live your life. And the only thing that may be stopping you are your doubts and your fears that you may be holding on to from the past. Boy, fear can hold us back from doing our greatest work. Don't be fearful of your talents. Your talent is the prospering action of spirit within you, wanting to be released through whatever it is that you are passionate about. Okay? Whatever it is that you are passionate about. Ralph Waldo Emerson says about passion this: passion rebuilds the world for the youth. It makes all things alive and significant. Well, I must be aging in the pattern of youth because I still have passion in my life, and I feel my life alive and significant by the passion I have, especially for this teaching, for the teaching of religious science, for the growth of our center, and for being surrounded by like-minded people such as yourselves. He also says, Ralph Waldo Emerson, about passion, it's like riding a horse. No, he says, riding a horse is not a great hobby to be picked up and laid down like a game of solitaire. It is a grand passion. It seizes a person whole, and once it has done so, he or she will have to accept that his life will be radically changed. And indeed, it will be. Indeed, changed for the good, because you're following your passion. You're allowing your passion to lead and guide and direct you in an intelligent way. Follow your passion, and your heart will guide you into the right places and to meet the right people and do the right thing at the right time, at the right place. But your heart must be filled with great faith. And when it is, there will be no room for fear. For faith, as we know, casts out all fear. Just this past week, I was watching an interview with a young woman by the name of Jane Zespri, and forgive me if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but some of you from YouTube and Instagram and Facebook, and even here in the studio audience, might know her as Nightbird. Okay? She was on the show American Got Talent and told the judges before her performance how cancer has ravaged her body at such a young age. She wrote a song titled I'm Okay about her challenge with cancer and performed it that particular night. Everyone on the show, everyone in the audience was taken back by not only her talent and the words she expressed in the song she wrote, but with her emotions that she sang with. And needless to say, she went on to win the contest that night. She was asked to come back for the finals. However, she had to just forgo that, as her diagnosis of late was not very promising. In the interview, she spoke with such eloquence and was the epitome of what it is to have a faith so deep that it casts out all fear. She told the interviewer that her cancer came back and has taken over her lungs and liver. Her liver right now is mostly cancer. Her response was, more cancer than liver in there right now, but like I said, I'm planning my future and not my legacy. Some people would call that blind denial. I prefer to call it a rebellious hope. And I'm not stopping anytime soon. She keeps telling herself, don't you want to see what happens if you don't give up? This was her message to everyone watching the interview. And Celia, this is a great testimony to what you talked about last week in our community time, positive expectancy. It's a perfect example. Here's a woman with a faithful conviction who is following her passion as an artist without any doubt or fear, even though her external circumstances are saying something very, very different. I'm reminded of the statement, those who have great faith have great power. And here's a young woman with great power and great strength at the very core and the very depth of her being, where she is spending all of her energy. As she closed the interview, she said something very powerful that we should all take to heart. And that is, it's important that everyone knows that I'm so much more than the bad things that happen to me. I am so much more than the bad things that happen to me. And she finished by saying, and I have this on my sheet in all capital letters, so I'm shouting it out to you. You can't wait until life isn't hard anymore before you decide to be happy. You can't wait for life isn't hard anymore before you decide to be happy. Life will always be what you make it. Make it happy, make it peaceful, make it joyful. And I ask all of you in the next few days to please remember Nightbird in your prayers. And like Nightbird, we should always be following our passion in life, whatever that is for you. And if you're not sure where your passion lies, give it up to Spirit. Just give it up to Spirit within you. It will lead you towards it. It will guide you and direct you to that passion. The great prospering action has left us free and gave us choice to choose and discover whatever passion in life is, where our passion of life is, and what it is. Once chosen, it's there, cheering us on, 100%. Remember, our divine plan is freedom. Freedom to choose intelligently. You want to choose intelligently, not unintelligently. Remember, we live in a universe of intelligence. If we're acting unintelligently in a universe of intelligence, there's going to be some chaos in your life. And this is not what we want. So we have to continue to listen to that still, small voice within us, okay, telling us life is good, cheering us on to move onward, upward, and forward. Listen, I never thought that my journey in life would take me to this teaching, to be a minister, to be standing here at this podium today and talking about life and passion to all of you. I just followed my heart. I followed my passion, and I had about this teaching, never dreaming of becoming a minister. And believe me, I kicked and screamed, no, I don't want to be, no, I can't be, no, I'm going to be this fabulous actor, this great actor, I can't. And the minute I gave up the fight, everything fell into place. Everything just fell into place. If you find yourself beating yourself up over which road to take, give the fight up. Give it up and give it to Spirit. It will lead you, it will guide you, it will direct you into the next venture in your life. By our conscious thoughts, we can bring whatever we desire into our life experiences. Prosperity in all areas of our lives begins in mind because all thoughts are creative. We must let the prospering action of Spirit operate in us, as us, and through us. We don't coerce it, we don't push it, we don't force it, and we don't even create it. We just let this great power work through us. Our great faith and deep beliefs in Spirit will outpicture and reflect itself in everything that we think, do, and say. What we outwardly are and what we are to become depends upon what we are thinking, for this is the way we use the creative power that truly is the prospering action, and this is what it does. So the sooner we release our minds from the thought that we have to create and give it up to Spirit, the sooner this action will work for us. Trust it, believe in it, have faith in it, like Nightbird. And when we do, we shall then see that what we need is not some greater power, but an expanded consciousness, a deeper realization of our passion in life, and above all, a much more intimate concept of an already indwelling presence within us. Have fun with yourself. Have fun with yourself in this teaching. Have fun with yourself in this growth. Find the joy in the process. Okay? Find the joy in your growth. Find the joy in your prospering action of Spirit operating within you. Because it's only simply a thought away. Thank you. And so ends the lesson. I think we're going to take a little 2-minute break, and then Reverend Judith and I will come back to see and hear how you all are prospering in your lives. Thank you.